Hey there, so today we have another review. This is another beer from Pariah. This is very interesting and very weird. This is Erotic City. So first off, the label is very weird. First of all, the name's a little bit weird. And then Erotic City reminds me of like am I crazy or just like mid to late 90s like graphic design back in the day? Like I'm thinking like Transformers, Beast Wars and stuff like that. Like just like reminds me of like what things used to look like. That's like you want to play a video game and you want like some CG, like that's like Mortal Kombat. I don't know. Like I don't know. You guys have better references than me. But just what does this specifically remind you of? Because I'm gonna know exactly what you're talking about when you mention it. Like what brand or TV show or movie or music video or game or something. It's just boom. 90s and 2000s kids. Anyway, this is a very weird one. This is a hybrid ale. This is a beer, wine, mead hybrid. I'm not actually. You know what? I'm just gonna dig into this and then find out more about it on the label because that's what we've been doing. And I have no freaking clue what they're trying to do over here. So let's try this out. Let's try this guy out. So it definitely looks like a beer. I definitely don't have a clean glass, unfortunately. But it's a pretty clear, clear beer from Pariah, or beer wine hybrid, or whatever you want to call it. It comes in a kind of like a deep gold color, pretty good clarity on it. They have a canning date. No canning. Okay, another one. No canning date. Right. Cool. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, so that smells immediately like cider, right? Oh, it's beer, wine, mead. So I guess that combination makes it smell like a little bit like cider. But also I think it's a little bit of a trick because I carry bee nectar at work, and bee nectar, if you don't know, is like a meadery outside of like the Midwest. Pretty big, one of the recognizable brands of mead you can get. And a lot of their ciders have honey in them too because they make mead and cider. So it has a honeyed kind of appley sweetness to it. Yeah, that's what I immediately guess. I just get honey and apples and just all that. So cheers. Okay, 9%. Oh, that is so weird. I don't know what to think about that. So it's almost still like there's like no carb to it. It is very drinkable for 9%, but really it has a lot of nothing going on, at least from what I could tell about. And they prefer it cold. So it's a 9% product, but they recommend it at 38 to 45 degrees versus their hazy IPA. That was 6.5%. They want it 55 to 50, or 50 to 55. It's a huge difference in temperature. What do they recommend? So what is this? This is one of our first ever recipes. And offering it in cans is something special. So one of the first ever recipes that Pariah did was a beer, wine, mead hybrid. Okay, cool, guys. Yeah, that's a homebrew spirit right there, right? Orange blossom honey, muscat grapes, barley, sweet yet dry, a little bit acidic. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, not much too much information out of that. And then obviously being produced out of Baltimore because they took over the whatever other facility, right? It's that brewery that used to make double duck pin or whatever it's called, I think, right? You guys posting on below? I think so. You guys, well, Pariah knows too. So, it's almost like no carb in this guy. Up front, what is that flavor? Okay. So first off, in general, at 9%, this product is very lacking in flavor. I hate to be mean, but like it doesn't have a lot going on for it. Like it smells so much like it's. Even on the nose, it has that honeyed, appley kind of sweetness, and I'm blown away that it's not apples in here, but muscat grapes. But it has like a honeyed apple sweetness to it. So I would have guessed it was one of these like bee nectar a honeyed cider things. And then on palate, it's very thin, and you just feel the booze on your like I could like I had a late lunch, but not having a dinner yet. I can feel the booze, but there's not much going on. Like it's not sweet. It is dry. There's some bitterness. I have it cold, just like they recommend. I don't know, man. They're so like beer generally just has flavor, and like honestly, it almost tastes like a 9% light lager. Like. It's almost devoid of flavor. It has that kind of sweetness to it. So there's a little bit of this kind of honeyed, but it's not a sweet product at all. Like this is definitely not a mead. General, like, depending on where they finish your gravity on a mead, like there's generally some like big amount of like this like honeyed flavor that even if something's dried out, like you can have an impression of sweetness. This beer maybe has this thing, whatever it is, hybrid has a little bit of that, and then maybe a little bit of the fruitiness of the Muscat grapes. But then like the malt is like hidden. There's a little bit of that blank slate malt kind of thing that like American lager and light lager does, where it's just like here's a little bit of malt and here's a little bit of water and like right. It tastes like malt water, right? Like you're trying to keep it cold and just drink it and forget about it and just have a little bit of this kind of crisp malt water that really has no hops and no expression yeast, or like you're trying to hide everything as much as possible. I can't drink this whole can. I'm gonna get completely wasted. And again, lacks so much flavor, and then it also lacks carb too. Wow, this is weird. Crazy enough, it is a lot more drinkable than like a what do you want to call it, like a malt liquor, right? Like a Hurricane, or like one of those like imperial products that like one of the macro breweries make. Hurricane, Steel Reserve, like they're like 7, 8, 9%. These like they're basically macro lagers, but like big, like double the ABV of like a Bud Light, which is 4.2. This sort of does that job without the carb. But then the important thing is it doesn't have any of those all flavors that those. I guess those are beers. Those beers have those all flavors. This hybrid doesn't have those all flavors, so it's way better than those. So if you're planning on getting, and the cool thing about this beer, without the carb, you can smack like you just go for the camera. Woo! Yeah, you could do that, and there's no carb to it. And as you drink it more, the analogy gets stronger. I get some of those like weird, funky off flavors that I get from like malt liquors, but definitely not as bad, and not even close. And then there's no carb to it, right? Those malt liquors aren't carb that high anyway. But this is like there's like very low carb on this one, so you can smash this can and 4-pack or whatever you want and get completely thanked, because this is all it does. You're not looking for flavor. You're just getting completely tanked on this. Where the beer and the wine and the mead meets, I don't know where. It really just has this like light malt flavor and a little bit of like maybe Muscat grape fruitiness and nice dryness to it. But it is meant to really mess you up, because there's really like not flavor there to savor at 9%. You're just just doing what I do. I will say that probably makes it better than the last hazy, because last hazy smelled great. I was a big fan of it, but this at least does a job. So I give it credit for that. That's not my goal tonight, because I gotta be an adult tomorrow at some point. So or I still have a night ahead of me, so I guess that's the reason. I guess that one got an 83. This all right, it's just a little bit better. This is gonna get 84. If you want to get really messed up and you don't have no issues drinking malt liquor style stuff, you're gonna love this guy. 9%, like low carb, none like it. It has some of the flavors that I don't like in like malt liquor, but like not remotely close to those fermentation all flavors that I get from the big guys. So until next time, cheers. 84. Later.